So welcome back to another episode, and welcome to my game room. Not this one, not this game room right here, but my game room from 1990 to 1999. 9 years I played video games in these rooms, and I gotta tell you, some incredible times were had, absolutely. And I'm gonna show some video, I'm gonna show some pictures, and I'm gonna go right in depth into this games room back then and show you all of it. And I'm going to show you the big change that happened in 1994, a thing that I'm still mad about to this day now. I'm going to talk about it because that changed the games room. Now, I want to say that my games room used to be in the living room, and I used to play there all the time, and most of the gaming I did was in the living room, but my bedroom was my inner sanctum. That's where I played most of my games, and my parents decided, they said, hey, why don't you take the big room downstairs? And that's when I was like turning 16 years old, and I'm like, really? I can have that huge room? They're like, yeah. So I went in and I populated it with all my video game machines, all my anime, all my games, every single thing, all my art supplies, everything was in this room. And boy, oh boy, did I never want to leave this room. I had so much fun. So let's break it down and let's start off. I'm going to start off with the first picture here. And this is my girlfriend at the time. This is the early 90s. Let's go in right here. And this is a classic picture here. I'm looking at it on my phone here. My God, the memories that come back to me when I see this room. And the first thing that hits me is the walls. Every single wall in my bedroom, my game room here, was full of anime and video game advertisements. I couldn't get enough. If we look up to the right there, we see the Char's Counterattack poster, one of my favorite Gundam movies of all time. Love that so much. And then you go over to the left a little bit and you see Ranma Half there and a bit of Zillion. You go to the left again and you see the Robotech poster. I used to have that. I was watching Robotech from 1985 up to like 1987, 88. And right there, right in the middle, is the classic Genesis fold-out poster advertising the machine on all the latest games that were coming. And boy, oh boy, I love the Genesis, and I had that up proudly. I was a big Sega fan, so had that on the wall. Now, if we go to the left a little bit, you can see there some VHS anime tapes. That's what all of those were. Right in the middle is my TurboGrafx and my CD-ROM, and it's playing, yes, if you see on the TV there, Cosmic Fantasy 2. It just came out at that time, and my girlfriend was playing it. As I've said in many episodes, she got through the dungeon we couldn't get through at the time. Me and my friend Andrew were trying to do. She was able to get through that perfectly. If we go up a little bit, though, there is my VHS recorder and my Ghetto Blaster that I had. And the thing that I would do would be I would tape music that would come out of the video game machines or out of the VCR, tape it into the recorder there of the Ghetto Blaster on the tape. And so I could take it with me and listen to it. That's what you did back then. And so that room is classic. That angle is classic. And what a classic picture. I'm so glad I took it. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, that one definitely is. Now here's another angle, and yes, this is me here, I know. Look at that hair. It is out of control. Hairstyles in the 90s were out of control, especially for skateboarders, and I definitely was a skateboarder. I love my Powell Peralta jacket there with the skull on the back of my flight jacket that I have here. This is why Rob bought me this flight jacket with Macross on it, because he always remembers me wearing my flight jacket in high school, so he wants to kind of recreate that for me. What's really funny is, for anybody who's been around since the beginning of the show, to the right of me there, on the mirror, you can see all my bandanas. They're all there. All the colors of the rainbow going on there. We got red, brown, blue. I always had a bandana because my hair was so long, it held it back. Now, what I like about this picture here is right like to the side of me and above me, right there, you see Street Fighter 2, and you see all the characters of the original Street Fighter in there because the game had just first come out, right? And so I had bought an EGM magazine, and I was opening this up and cutting out the pages and putting it on my walls. That's what you did back then if you wanted to have some stuff. I mean, that's what you did. Again, you can see another Genesis poster there going on, and then you can see the Dirty Pair there to the side, Bubblegum Crash. And to the far left, I think, at the time, the girl I was going out with, she did some anime arts, and that's like early 90s, so classic photo. Okay, here's my friend Jay. He's got a Black Label beer in this picture, and this is where you would come in. The door is right there, and if you see on the door, it's the Champion Edition, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition sticker, and you'll say, where did you get that sticker? I went to an arcade and I peeled it off the side of the machine and I put it in the inside of my jacket and I brought it home because I like Street Fighter that much and I wanted to have some form of artwork of it. I know, it's nuts, but you know what I did with that? I took that sticker and I put it on my arcade machine when I got it here, so that's kind of a strange memory there. What is also on the door there is a poster for an anime called The 5-Star Stories. It's a manga that went in New Type magazine for many, many years. I think it's still going to this day, and that's a poster of the movie OVA there. And again, above there, you can see the Street Fighter pictures as well from the EGM magazine. Now, right on the eye line of my friend there, and this is really hard to see, but I hope you can a bit. This is terrible, especially with the prices of things nowadays. We didn't know back then. I would buy TurboGrafx games, and I think I have some right here. So here's Newtopia 2 right here. It would come in a box, insert here, and then you take the game out. What I would do is I take the game out, and I put, oh my god, I can't believe I did this. I put tape on the back, and I would tape it up on the wall as like a prized possession, you know? I'm showing off my latest kill or something like that. But yeah, I had a ton load of these up there on the wall, and you can see Street Fighter, Ys, I think that's Newtopia, I think that's R-Type as well. I think that's Dungeon Explorer there going on. Pretty nostalgic. I can't believe I used to do that. And also, I think to the left of that is a TurboGrafx advertisement for all the games coming out. And then we had, oh my god, the girl from Christina Applegate from Married with Children. I think I had a bit of a crush on her back there, and just some more anime posters. Now, this is a picture of the games room looking at the screen and where it would be at that point. And what I love here is my 21-inch TV, which I thought was a big deal. The 3DO underneath, one of my most hated consoles. I've never loved the 3DO. It's sitting in there, and it feels sad. It feels sad for me even to look at it now going, oh man, I really wanted to love that machine, but I just couldn't. But what I like here is the Akira poster. There's a couple of them there. That was such a big deal. It still is now, but in the early 80s into the 90s, what a big deal. The manga got translated and the film came out. Great times. And it's interesting, I think a lot of the games are not on the shelf here. They're like kind of scattered through. If you kind of look through there, see Super Street Fighter Turbo for the 3DO, a couple of Super Nintendo games. I think the interesting thing in this poster again is going to the left here and just more and more VHS copies of anime. And I think if you kind of look a little bit in there, I think there's some Warhammer miniatures going on and just a whole bunch of anime pictures there. I think that's the Legend of Arslan going on there, the main thing. And yeah, very, very cool. And the one thing I do want to say about the setup in the early 90s was it changed quite a few times. There was quite a few different ways. I mean, I have videos shot back then and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. There was one time the TV was in the corner and stuff like that. And I had friends over and I was filming my friends, but right now the funny thing is it was all about the game room for this and just to see it. And so, you know, I'm so happy that I was able to document it, that it exists, because we didn't have cell phones in the 90s, so a lot of this could have got lost. I'm happy that I still have some of it. Now, what was the big deal? What happened in 1994? Oh my god, this was crazy for me. So you see this games room that I built up with all the anime and all the stuff, everything that is me and I love was in this room. It represented me as much as this kind of represents me now in so many ways. Is that those pictures and all that represented me back then. So I went to England and I went there for a bunch of months and hung out with my grandmother. You know, I've got an episode on that called, you know, Johnny 21 years old or something like that. It's on the channel. Check that one out. I go into detail about my adventures. And yeah, what happened is I came back after months and months of being in England. My dad picked me up from the airport and we drove home. And I got home and I was so excited to be home. I really was. I was like, yes, all my video game machines. We didn't have the Nintendo Switch. I couldn't take that to England with me back then. I had no gaming machines or anything like that in England. So I was like very happy to come back. And so I walked into my room and I did a double take and all the blood drained from my face. It did. Because when I was gone, this is still a huge controversy to me now. When I was in England, my parents went in and they ripped down all of my posters, all of my artwork, all of that stuff. They took it down and they kind of folded it up kind of and they ripped so much of it. It was all, and they put it in the back room. This other room off to the side with tools and all the stuff is in there. And they repainted the whole room. So when I came back, it was like a bed, my TV and shelves, and the whole room was just white and there was nothing. It felt like clinical. It felt like I was going to a hospital. And I was so angry. I was so mad. I'm like, what the F have you guys done? What the heck? So it's upsetting that I come back from England and I felt really recharged and I was happy to see my parents again. But I was just I couldn't believe it. Yes, it's their house. That's fine. But I would, for my own daughter, I would never do that to her. If she had some posters up of things that mattered to her and all that, I'm still hurt by that because a lot of those posters were ripped and I could never fix them and they were irreplaceable. You can never find that stuff again. So yeah, I'm not just a ridiculous thing. I mean, that was strange, but I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I was back from England and I was ready to get more into anime, more into video games than I'd ever done ever before. That was my thing. At the time, I'm like, I'm gonna get nuts now. And I did. And so I started to repopulate the room. And this is getting into probably 1995 to 1999 here. So a lot of the pictures will show a lot of the things. A lot of it you'll see some Phantom Menace toys because that was, at the time I was getting into that before the movie had come out in 1999, and I thought we'd look at some of those photos. Okay, here's the classic photo of the games room after it had all been painted white, not by myself, and then I started to put some posters up, and what I like here, we'll go from right to left here, is we start off on the right, and I love it. A lot of E's love there, all the girls from E's there, Fina, on this beautiful poster that I had, and I still have that poster to this day, and so that, boom, was up. And then we got the King of Fighters. I have to have the King of Fighters up there, and back then there was this great mall, Johan Center from us, and you could go there, and every week they would have new wall scrolls. It was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, me and Rob and my friend Satan every week would be going there and getting new wall scrolls. It was really exciting. So we have that, and then we have obviously Dragon Ball going on there, and I love that poster. It was so great, and it's funny, for anybody who says, oh my God, John sits on the floor. Look at this. I sat on the floor there to play video games. I mean, also because the wires were so short on some of these machines, you had to sit up really, really close. And there to the right is all my anime tapes, and then I have a lot of movie tapes going on. Above me was the Phantom Menace toys. I mean, we hadn't seen the movie, yet. I gotten a few promo toys at that point, I believe. And then to the left there is the PlayStation 1 games. And you can see a stool there. That was the stool for my arcade machine going on. And we'll flip over here. And here's looking at the room and how it looked. And to be honest with you, I think this is when the Phantom Menace did come out, because I have actual Phantom Menace toys there. There were some toys that were released pre the movie, and I had those, but then I had all the toys as they came out as well. And there's the 21-inch TV that had never changed in years. And it's just kind of neat to look at this. All the video game magazines are just bustling out at the bottom here, and you can see to the left I started collecting my collection all in one place, kind of, which is really kind of neat. And it's kind of neat to see the Neo Geo games up there and all that stuff. And yeah, really, really nostalgic to see all of this. And yeah, what a time. I mean, man, after that, as you know, I left that place and I moved to a little apartment, and things got a lot smaller. But the years from 1990 to 1999 were some of my most oh my God, nostalgic years. To say that is so small. I watched some of the best movies in that room, played some of the best games in that room. I played Earthbound in that room. I played Chrono Trigger in that room. All the PlayStation 1 games were in that room. So many memories. Warsong, Langrisser, Ys 3, Ys Books 1 and 2, all were in that room. And that's why I always shed a small tear when I left that house. I mean, there was just so many memories in the walls. And some of them got painted over, but it didn't really matter because I built it back up. And but a lot of treasured memories. And I just wanted to come in and share what those rooms looked like back then. So I hope you guys enjoyed. So anyways, guys, until next time.